In a moment, we will be discussing how to avoid 4 of the most common but avoidable problems plaguing many Symantec endpoint deployments. First, we want to be able to validate that every endpoint has the Symantec agent installed. Like most endpoint management solutions, SEP's architecture relies on agents installed on every managed endpoint in the organization. These agents must be configured accurately on each endpoint for the solution to be available and effective. Unfortunately, agent-based technologies are susceptible to a common weakness. Agents themselves can be disabled or missing, rendering the associated solution uselessly unavailable. Next, we want to validate that the 5 required services and processes associated with Symantec are configured and running correctly. If any one of these fails because it is stopped, it is a critical problem that the SEP console cannot remediate alone. And last, we want to validate that the signature file is up to date and within acceptable guidelines. Hi, my name is Paul Wallen with PromiseSec. In this session, I'm going to show you how PromiseSec's unique agentless technology provides 100% visibility and control of your endpoints, which can help you stabilize and improve your Symantec endpoint protection experience. We have selected 6 hosts to be inspected. The criteria for selection of the host can be done by host name, IP address, or by domain. Most of the time, most PromiseSec customers search by Active Directory. You can show the OUs, and you can import the whole container, a group, or an individual object within the Active Directory. Or you can use an IP range. Effectively using an IP range will ensure that no hosts are missed during the inspection process. This will also discover hosts that are not part of the AV domain. This discovery can help you better your security posture with your SEP deployment. Continuing on, we will now refine our inspection process by defining the queries that are respective to the SEP11 deployment. We go to our user defined and we go to our Windows user defined and we click on services. These are the 5 services that are needed specifically to make sure that the SEP11 endpoint is operating properly. Here we go to the local machine services and we'll go through it. We do have at the top, we do have the live update service as well. Here we see the core of the Symantec Endpoint Protection as Symantec Endpoint Protection, the Event Manager, the System Symantec Management Client, the Network Access Control. We are not using it in this deployment. However, you still have the ability to check for it, and the Symantec Settings Manager. Also, we will then check for the associated processes to make sure that they are running. Here we're only checking for 4 processes that we need running. The real power comes in is with our registry and our registry settings. Here we have the ability to very quickly query an endpoint and find specific versions and settings that are in the registry. Here I can click and set on my registry builder, and I can quickly build a inspection query by going to HKey local machine, drilling down to software, going down to Symantec, taking a look at Symantec Anti-Virus, and here's where I can find all the information that I need to pull out. Here I'm going to go ahead and click on the AV folder, and I can find what the current pattern is. I can find the default home page. I right click and I bring up both the value and the data. The real trick here is to, when you do the inspection, is to set the registry data line specifically to any. During the inspection, any version found using this definition of any will pull out all the information that's on that endpoint regardless of what version is there. As you can see, you can do this with any of these predefined configurations that we have available for download on the PromiseSec site. When we look at the results, here we can see below that we had antivirus not installed in the machine. We had a service live update that was started and was set to automatic. It was found being disabled. We have the ability to quickly expand our result view and view all the information. We can sort on all these columns. We can sort on the host name, the IP address, object, status, and details. When I go ahead and I've already clicked on object, you can see that all the DAT information and the different if versions are there. We can see what the home directory was of the installation. We can find out if the IPS signatures are available as well. More importantly, we can find out what scan engine vendor has been installed as well. This information can be all aggregated and reported on. Reviewing the results can give us the ability to do what we call right-click remediation. Here, we'll click on our expanded view and expand the whole screen of results. Here again, we can select on the host name, the object, the status, and all the results that we have found. Here, we've grouped all of them together right now for the host name. We have the ability to do what we call is right-click remediation. Here we see that certain actions have been taken automatically, as we defined previously in the module that we had defined that in the user-defined query that when we find a service that is stopped, we set it to automatic and ask and keep it running. We will repair things on the fly. However, you still have the ability to go ahead and right-click remediate things that you find that aren't up to revision levels. So if we find that here that any virus is not installed on the host, we have the ability to right click on it and use our deployment mechanism to roll SEP11 out there. We can do it via a local MSI installer or an MSI installer on a share or on off the SEP11's repository. Here we can click on the task, set it up, deploy AV. We're going to browse down to the desktop, find the MSI installer, open it, and as you can see, we'll select it. We support all the delimiters, so when the package is installed, all the software arguments can be passed to have a suppressed installation to the endpoint, so a user does not interfere with it. Here we can click OK, and then we can start it off. I'm going to go ahead and stop it right now in the interest of time. We also have the ability, if we find other versions of the software out there, say a DAT file is not, or a signature file is not the most recent one, we have the ability to go out there after finding it, let's say, and let's go ahead and store it on the objects. And here again, we can see that processes are running on the endpoint, the RTV scan is running, which is the core on-access scanner, and other things that are running as well. Here, if I found specifically one of the DAT files was not in version, I can actually use a user-defined action and kick off live update. That way, it can go out to the internet, invoke the live update mechanism, and get the latest signature patterns that are available on the Symantec site. Again, we're not trying to replace SEP11. We're trying to enhance it by very quickly finding a problem with 100% visibility, remediating it, and then letting SEP11 do what it's supposed to do, manage the policies on the endpoint. Here, the way that we have done that is we go to our user-defined actions, and we've set two of them up, two user-defined actions. We have hostname and live update. The hostname is simply a ping command that if we find a host that's not responding, we have the ability to right-click on it and send a ping packet down to it to make sure it's live. As we can see, it's alive. You have a robust amount of capabilities with right-click remediation. Thanks for watching. For a free, no-obligation trial of this solution, contact us via email at sales@promisec.com or visit us on the web at www.promisec.com.